Welcome to the teachings of today's Holy Mass with Reverend Father Alphonsus. Be blessed by the love of Christ, who seeks the elevation of all his children through his word.
Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory be to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Standing by the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing near, he said to his mother, "Woman, behold your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Behold your mother." And from that hour, the disciple took her to his own home. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
These are the calculations that parents need to make on behalf of their children. Life in the flesh has end. Life in the spirit is eternal. Right now, I wonder the kind of relationship that exists between the Blessed Virgin Mary and her son. Right now, I wonder the kind of relationship that exists between the Maccabean woman and her 7 sons. How are we going to describe their lives when they were alive? Now, from this age. Are we going to now, from this age, say that the Maccabean woman and her 7 sons that died at young age lived for a short time, and the people who killed them lived for a long time? We cannot even calculate that now, because they are all gone. Eventually, all those who were fighting, using other people to increase their lives, are gone. All those who didn't use other people to increase their lives, lived short lives, are gone. If we are looking for a long life, for what reason? If it is to eat and to drink, it is waste. If it is to see your loved ones and all those that you care for, it is waste. Because I can tell you with all confidence that there are some people who died leaving their children at young age, and those who built themselves powerful in the Lord while they were alive, they have the capacity to watch over their children now. And there are testimonies. Look, there are testimonies that you cannot even touch the children, no matter what you do. A lot of single mothers died leaving their little children, and the children were in the hands of her most bitter enemy. All the enemy could do was maltreat them. They couldn't poison them. Those children grew inside that maltreatment and became the strongest people. What their spirit mother just thought about was, they are only maltreating your flesh. They beat you, it is your flesh. They deny you your food, it is your flesh. One day you will be like me. That's when you know flesh does not matter. So eat the suffering so that it will build your spirit. That is what the spirit mother would say. And the spirit mother will speak to them in the dream and say, nobody can change your destiny. Nobody can tamper with your life. I am with you. When a mother who has died appears to a child in dream, say, I am with you. The child wakes up and does not see any punishment anymore. We need to quickly get to accept the real investment of life. It is not in the flesh. It is in the spirit. The Blessed Mother allowed her son to go through this. She wept as a human being. She cried blood. You know, she died 1,000 deaths. It is easy for you to be the one suffering the death than for you to watch somebody suffering it. There was a day I saw a video of a woman who had an accident and she was cut into two from the waist. The upper part of the body was severed from the waist. The waist and the legs were lying in one place. So she was using her two hands to try to want to raise her body. She was still very much alive. She was calling people, help me, help me. But people who were looking at her were already dead. That is, they were looking at, they were dead, like dead. Help me, they couldn't move. How can you help that kind of person? The wasters, you are not a doctor, even if you are a doctor. When you see helplessness, you are helpless, you can do nothing, you are as good as dead. I, who was watching it, didn't know what to feel. There was no energy to cry. There was no energy to be afraid because I, who was looking at it, I was dead from my head to toe. There were no sentiments of life in me. But the person who is actually dead was speaking. We who think we are alive, we are dead. Couldn't speak. Now, this is what happens to those who are watching those suffering. The person who was dying did not feel pain. She was surprised about the nature of her body, the body that she has gotten used to. How can she be alive looking at her body cut in two? And she's still alive looking at it. She'll look at herself, then the fear will come that my body is half. And then, help me, no cry. The voice was clean, clear, help me. The brain has already turned because the brain cannot take what it is seeing. But she wasn't feeling any pain. Help me was, she doesn't know where next. Can this be fixed? Is this really me? Am I dreaming? She'll look at herself again and look at people, help me, help me. There was no sign of pain on her face. There was no tears on her eyes. At that stage, she cannot feel pain because what has hit the brain is bigger than the brain. So the brain cannot interpret it. So there will be no pain. But those who are watching it have died of pain. You know, when in the Stations of the Cross we say it is easier to bear our pains than to watch the pains of those we love. No. I don't think you have seen it. Pray that you don't see it. The day you will wish to die, if only your child will live. That day, anything that can kill you, you will accept it. Well, that is if you are a good mother or if you are a good father. You will accept it. That's when you start hearing someone say, you are not the one that's supposed to go. Let the sickness enter me. People will go into spiritual activities. Let the sickness enter me. And indeed, there are some mothers that had engineered the sickness of their children into themselves. So the child was healed. Of course, those who know the spiritual patterns of power by which you can manipulate the forces of life, many have done that. I cannot be alive to see my child die. I should rather live. Why were they not afraid of death? Because at that point in time, those watching someone die, your loved one, you are the one that die most. So in this whole case of the sorrows of the Blessed Virgin Mary, no. She was the one that died most. Look, she died many times. Because there was an extent to which they have beat Jesus Christ, all his nerve endings wouldn't respond anymore. It's just like somebody who escaped from ritual killers who were butchering people alive. As he was running, his foot cut into two. He didn't know. He was still running with full speed inside the forest. His foot had severed in two like this. Just one tiny flesh, one tendon, all those thick tendon was holding the entire foot like this. But he was running mightily. It was when he ran to safety. It was people that told him, people who saw his legs started shouting, you know. There are people who got burnt on this Benin Sapele Road. I think that was 3 or 4 years ago when a trailer fell on that bad Olugbo roadside. People got burnt. All they were feeling were just cold. The outer skin gone. Pure burnt. They weren't going to survive. But if you look at their face, no tears on their face. But those who were looking, they were already gone. You see, my dear brothers and sisters, we don't need to start counting the sorrows of the Blessed Virgin Mary because she had them in those. Beginning from when they were looking for Jesus Christ, your only son, the kind of child that you know he is. He is just 12 years old. Searched for him, having not seen him for a day's journey. For 3 days, they searched for him, 3 days. I don't know how Mary's heart would have been like. And then when they condemned her son, how can you condemn such a person? What did he do? So for all the good that he did, even though Mary knew that the son was going to satisfy the reason why he came into this world, at least her humanity still hoped that human beings were humane enough. He didn't do anything. He did good. All he did were good. So the people that he saved cannot gather and beat those soldiers. The people cannot gather and beat the Sanhedrin. So they cannot riot. So nobody rioted on behalf of Jesus. Look, do not think it was God that caused it. God did not hold anybody. But this is just to tell you how spells work, spells. The people, Jesus Christ had looked at them and said they were harassed and dejected, like sheep without shepherd. And he strove to teach them. But instead of them to learn of his teaching, they were looking for miracles. And then he said, this is a cursed generation. What would have given them power was the teaching. Miracles don't give power. It is teaching that gives power. Okay, what about the catch of fish? After catching fish, did the apostles get power? And they would only eat the fish, and that's all. After being cured of illness, is it that because you were cured of your own illness, you go and cure another person? Does that give power? No. It is the teachings that give power. That was why the apostles, when they continued, they taught people. It is teaching that gives power. Send your child to the school. If the child is well taught, the child comes out with power. If the child is not well taught, if somebody now does miracle for the child, the child didn't even write exam, and miraculously a result just came. And give the child the result now. Then go and put the child on the field where that result has certification that the child is professional of. Let's see whether because of the miracle of the result, the child will do better there. Miracle does not empower. It is teaching that empowers. Jesus was teaching them, but they were not interested in his teaching. They were saying the miracles he did in Capernaum, do them again here. Let us see. And so he said, this is an adulterous generation that they search for miracles. So the Blessed Virgin Mary was most disappointed that the human beings that received these miracles were not empowered. Of course, they were not empowered because they didn't listen to his teaching. They were running after his miracles. He gave them miracles. So take. But he told them it is better to give than to receive. It is teaching that gives us the power to give. But only few were taught. And those few that were taught didn't have the power and the authority to defend Christ. If the people had listened to the teaching of Jesus Christ, and then over 5,000 or 7,000 became his disciples, they would overrun the city. When they were wanting to make him king, why didn't they, with that veil, fight against those who were wanting to kill an innocent man? Which meant that the only reason why they wanted to make him king was to put him in a seat where he would just say bread, and then the whole people, without walking, would just come and be eating bread. Wine, everybody would just carry drum and come. That was what they needed him for. If that is how life is, then there shouldn't be life at all. The reason why there is life, the reason why God created you and I, is that we be able to become dominion, create from where God stopped. Create, carry out the job. That was why Jesus told the apostles, he must live in order for them to carry out what they were made for. Otherwise, if Jesus had stayed with them, they would be redundant and useless. The being that is inside of them wouldn't have come out. Peter would never have become what he was. It's not about Jesus Christ spent only 3 years. Jesus would have spent 50 years with them. They will still be on the same level. That's how somebody will still bring another person for healing, and they will say, your apostles were not able to heal them, and Jesus will say, this is the type that need prayer and fasting. As long as the bridegroom is around, they will not fast. But when the bridegroom is taken away from them, then they will fast. So the people were weak. So Mary's disappointments were doubled. You condemn my son. And likely, they really went to lash him, and Mary was there, scourging at the pillar, and the crowning with tongues, and then the carrying of the cross, and then went to Golgotha. My dear brothers and sisters, the Blessed Virgin Mary is worth our honor. Today, it's an encouragement for every one of us who are going through hard times. It gives us an opportunity to connect to the streams of power. You are the final bus stop. Don't look back to say someone is going to do this work. You are the final bus stop, and that's the meaning of judgment. You are the final bus stop. The Father would only be behind you to teach you. After teaching you, he should leave you to do the work. You will be the final bus stop. To virtues, to holiness, to defending the poor, to standing for truth, to casting away demons and darkness, especially those who come in the form of Confucianists, even though they are physical. You are the final bus stop. If you look back, don't forget Jesus said, you are not fit for the kingdom of God.
Please like, share, and if you haven't, hit the subscribe button and join us for daily reflections.